Good. Welcome, everybody. Welcome and thank you for being with us tonight for the candidate forum for the San Leandro City Council District 2. I am Penny Peck, I'm your moderator, and I'm from the League of Women Voters Eden Area. The League of Women Voters is a trusted membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We do not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. For decades, we have actually for 102 or 3 years, we have offered fair and balanced candidate forums. The League participates in advocacy and voter education. The advocacy arm of the League may take positions on issues such as ballot measures and propositions. This forum is presented by the education arm of the League. I'd like to remind everyone that the candidates have all agreed to participate under our ground rules set for this forum. The League is very proud of their history of civil discourse and nonpartisan forums. This is an educational event, not a debate. Before we get started, there are some details to review that will help our audience interact with the session. First, for our audience, if you need translation, click on the show captions area along the very bottom of the screen here of our Zoom. If you need translation, click on show captions, and then you'll see where you have to choose the speaking language and then follow the directions from there. Anybody who needs translation. Another thing you should know is microphones are muted for everyone except the candidates and the moderator. Video images will show the candidates and the moderator. Candidates will stay on screen for the entire forum and will mute until it's their turn to speak. We're recording this forum and we'll be posting it via our websites and YouTube for the broader community access. We anticipate it will be posted within or before 48 hours from now. We just have one forum to present in this session. It'll be again, as I said before, for the San Leandro City Council District 2. There are 2 candidates running for this office. All the candidates were invited, and in this case, all the candidates are present. All right. Now, we'll be handling questions for the candidates in the following manner. The League is proud of its outreach to the community. Questions for this forum have been solicited in advance from the community and from our local leagues, and we have screened the questions to ensure that they're fair and unbiased and to avoid duplication or anything inappropriate. The order of answering the questions will alternate, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to the questions. The chat function will not be active. And our candidates, please keep an eye on the timekeeper that's on the screen. The clock will signal the candidates of their remaining time and when their time is up. As moderator, I may verbally give some prompts as well. Remember that if you go over time, I will remind you. And if you keep going over time, the rule is we will skip you on a question if it's a consistent issue or problem. There's no separate rebuttals. Following the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. All right, the order of the candidates has already been randomly assigned. So we are ready to open with 2-minute statements from our candidates. Up first will be Brian Azevedo. Go ahead with your 2-minute candidate statement.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Azevedo, your San Leandro City Council member. Thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this forum, and thank you all for being here today. I'm running for re-election because I'm deeply committed to making San Leandro a place where everyone can thrive, where families feel safe, where our environment is protected, and where our community remains strong and connected. Over the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of working on some of the most pressing issues we face today, and I hear all your concerns. I'm focused on reducing crime and enhancing public safety. I've supported initiatives like the Safety Ambassador Program, which has already made a positive impact in downtown San Leandro, and I'm working to expand it to more areas of our city. I've also championed rent stabilization to protect tenants from unfair evictions and rising costs, ensuring that our residents can afford to stay in their homes. And I'm proud to have supported the transition to 100% renewable energy as our default plan, pushing San Leandro to be a leader in environmental sustainability. Protecting our planet isn't just a policy for me, it's a responsibility for future generations. But it's not just about what happens on council. I'm out in the community leading cleanups. I'm always out there helping folks whatever their needs are. This helps not only beautify our neighborhoods, but also bring people together, fostering a sense of pride in our community. I'm committed to continuing this work. I believe we can build a San Leandro that balances growth with preservation, that invests in affordable housing while also protecting our current residents, and that addresses homelessness with compassion and real solutions. I want to ensure that our city remains safe, clean, and sustainable for everyone that calls it home. I'm asking for your support to keep working for you, to keep our community strong, and to make sure San Leandro is a place that we're all proud to live in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next candidate will begin his 2-minute statement, so please welcome Ed Hernandez.
Good evening, League of Women Voters, members, friends, and guests of the League of Women Voters for the Eden area. I'm really excited to be here this evening. Again, Ed Hernandez, running for City Council. I have been serving the community for the last 13 years. I'm really excited to be your Eden Health District Director for the past 3 years there, improving health outcomes, improving the way we can deliver grants to the community, over $1 million or so to local nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club, Davis Street, Building Futures, and many other good organizations that help our community out, especially when we needed it most and during the pandemic. Some of the pressing priorities that I'm focused on is public safety, small businesses, as well as infrastructure and housing. You know, before we go into the issues, just share a little bit about myself. I'm a first generation American here. My parents immigrated from Mexico when they were rather young. They shared the importance of hard work and education. That bolstered my efforts to get my college degree in finance and 2 masters in business administration, organizational development. I'm also a father, raising 2 young, wonderful daughters with my wife, Catherine. We've been here for 20 years in San Leandro. I'm involved in the community as a volunteer, serving our community members, delivering meals for our seniors, our homebound seniors, as well as supporting the San Leandro Community Food Pantry, and doing my best to help where I can. I'm really proud of the work I've been doing here in the community, and right now I'm running for City Council because we need to move our city in the better direction. Right now I'm concerned about crime, safety, and we need to be able to come together for a safer San Leandro for all. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to the conversation tonight.
Great, thank you. So now we're going to go to our questions, and we'll begin first with Mr. Hernandez, and then we'll go to Mr. Azevedo would go first on our next question. We'll go back and forth that way. You both have served in public office before, elected office. What would you say is your proudest accomplishment from your term? Please explain how this experience enables you to achieve future accomplishments if you're elected.
And that's a great question. So understanding what is our biggest accomplishment, or sort of what I'm proudest of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think during my tenure on City Council, I think it was quite important to drive a sanctuary city forward. I was proud of the work being able to support that. It was an important question because there's the threat of losing federal funding. And we knew, and I knew, because the precedent set, that that wouldn't be the case. But regardless, it was important to make sure people felt safe, that you wouldn't have to worry about parents being deported and kids coming home to missing parents, or people not responding and being victims of domestic violence, not feeling they could respond or react or, you know, press charges without having some other concerns. Working real hard to make our community safe. And that's always the priority for me, making sure there's safety and opportunity for all. And I think that's what I focused on. And it's one of the proudest things I've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Azevedo, your response.
Yes, my accomplishments on the council, I'm proud of them. There's a few. One of them is the navigation center that we've been pushing for, and you know, because we have an issue with unhoused homeless people here in San Leandro, so we're getting this navigation to help identify them, because not all homeless people are the same. Some are just down on the luck, some have mental drug issues, etc. So we're going to help identify them and help them get a place if they need it, and help them get the medication or counseling. The safety ambassadors, I push for safety ambassadors, and now we have them in downtown San Leandro, and they make our police more efficient. They help people walk them to their cars. if they're scared or if they're having any issues, and they move the homeless along if there's any issues. So I'm proud of that. Our climate action plan is another big accomplishment. We transitioned to 100% renewable energy as our default, and forming the community police review board is another one. It's important that we have oversight and we make sure that everything's going smoothly. So those are some of my accomplishments that I'm proud of. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Our next question will go back again to Mr. Azevedo this time. To begin, how does your safety plan address support for policing safety issues associated with mental health challenges in the community?
Yeah, that's real important. Yeah, the safety ambassadors, they call the city services to help them when there's issues. So we have the safety ambassadors helping with the homeless issues, and we're working on a safe program with the fire department, and the police and the city are working together to help with the mental issues, because that's a real problem in San Leandro. You know, we have to have compassion for the homeless, but we also have to have compassion for the homeowners, the taxpayers, the businesses. Seniors want to feel safe when they go to stores here in San Leandro. So that's why I've been pushing to expand the safety ambassador program to the greenhouse, and we're looking to expand it to the Bayfair area. So that's real important. And we're pushing for non-police services where they drive around the streets, they see something, they report it. If people have issues, they report it. They don't carry weapons. And it makes our police officers more efficient. Right now, when we don't have the numbers, we're pushing to recruit more police officers, but it's a challenge right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez, your thoughts on this question?
May you repeat it, please, for me? Thank
Sure.
you.
How does your safety plan address support for policing safety issues associated with mental health challenges in the community?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Beck, for that question. Safety is important and vital. First of all, we need to get our police force to where we were at when I was back on the city council. We had about 90 officers on staff. I think we're down at the lowest about 50, and I think we might be at 67. And with the new chief, who I have advocated for and support, she's looking at 100. And of course, that's not the only answer, but we need to make sure we support and create a culture that we do want to have our police officers here, our professionals of public safety and firefighters as well in our community, and then bring on the additional resources like mental health response units, community members. But at the moment, crime is at the highest it's been in the last 27 years. We need to make sure we address that first and foremost, so people feel safe to be able to leave their home without having to worry like minimal items throughout the community, and just really working with our mental health professionals to make sure they're part of the solution. And they're there arm in arm with our police and firefighters who are burning out as well. So we need to do better, and I'm there to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go to Mr. Hernandez first. And this is sort of an extension of that last question. Just generally, what would you do to help reduce crime in San Leandro?
Well, I mean, making public safety the priority, bringing our police force to full strength, and working with the city manager, making that the #1 priority, bringing on a full-time recruiter, working with the police department and the chief and the advisory board to make sure we're bringing police officers and first responders that fit the need of the community, are there to really make sure we're safe, and they're able to partner for that community policing. Because right now they don't have time to really do any community policing. They're just responding to crimes. They're not able to really get involved in the community, and they're starting to do more of that, but they're still stretched thin. For the last 3 years, they've been working 12-hour shifts, and our firefighters are also burning out. So there's really mental health concerns, not only from the community, but also our professionals. So we need to help them so they can help us be safer in San Leandro, and that's my priority, and we need to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Azevedo.
Yeah, well, yeah, we need to make sure our police department is at full strength, and we need to make sure our police officers are more efficient with support services, community involvement, and more eyes on the street. Like I said, the non-police patrol, because right now we're having issues recruiting. Yeah, we'd love to have all the police officers we can, but it's hard to recruit them right now. So we have these non-police officers drive around the streets. There's more eyes on the street. We all agree we want more eyes on the street, but getting there's the question. So we're looking into different ways with this now. It already worked in Heron Bay where they had a homicide over there, and now they have a security person drive around the streets. They see something, they make our police officers more efficient. That's what we need to do. For the police officers we have, we need to make them more efficient with the safety ambassadors and with the non-police services. So that's really important to do. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Our next question will begin with Mr. Azevedo. Many folks have read about the building that's across from Bancroft Middle School and how that building is negatively impacting the community because the construction has stalled. So I was curious if there's any issue that's similar in District 2. Is there something in District 2 that the city should make a priority so that it'll improve the neighborhood?
Yeah, I understand the project in Bayfair. Yeah, I didn't support the project or anything, but yeah, it is stalled. And right now, Bayfair, we're getting Bayfair going. That's an issue right now where it's a little stalled, but we're getting it going now. We're getting a tech lab back there where it's going to be 300 jobs, and in the front, it's going to have retail, and it's going to have housing on the top. And I met with the owners, and I'm pushing for something for families in there. I said, we need something for families. We need a bowling alley or a skating ring, something that'll bring families together. And one of the owners told me, I'm a former hockey player. I love skating rings. I said, well, if we got something sponsored by Disney or Pixar or Marvel, we can have something nice for families. So we really need to get Bayfair going. That's important to me. My grandfather's first job was when Bayfair used to be a racetrack back in the 30s and 40s. So it's real important to make sure that Bayfair is making money for the community. I mean, making money for the city, and it's efficient for the community. People will have places to go besides the movie theater to bring their families. So we really need to get Bayfair going. That's the one big thing in San Leandro.
Great, thank you. Mr. Hernandez, your thoughts on District 2?
Yeah, I agree. Bayfair is our huge opportunity site. When in 2020 we approved the TOD plan to move that forward, we talked about 2,000 homes there, mixed use, residential, retail, and job opportunities. I think biggest concern still is safety. And talking to the owners, they are concerned because some folks don't want to come in here because they don't feel safe at night or safe throughout the day there. So we really have to prioritize safety so we can reinvest, revigorate that asset of 30 acres. They've told me that they're bringing over touchstone climbing, which is a great opportunity for me and my daughter because I like to belay her and she likes to rock climb, and it's intuitive and intense as she gets out there and climbs it. So I know they're bringing that over to the old Bed Bath and Beyond. So it's going to be amazing. But we have to focus on housing as well. The partnership there in that parking lot, that could be prime opportunity for redevelopment for affordable housing. We have to partner with them, bring that forward. It's a great opportunity. Looking forward as a housing expert to do that and move us forward in the right direction.
Great, thank you. Our next question kind of goes with this one we just covered. So besides the issue of Bayfair and concentrating on moving that forward, is there any other unique needs to District 2, and how would you plan to address those needs? So we'll go to Mr. Hernandez first.
Thank you. And I would say there's more in District 2, but we have to look at the whole city. We are one city. We take care of ourselves. We fix the infrastructure. We open our roads. We don't let residents in the manner see the storm wall collapse. We fix Lake Shippo Road, open it up, and we have the quality of life. We have the Kaiser location, 30 acres of opportunity there to build some great things. The marina, it just becomes blight, and there's nothing there when we have to move that project forward. And I think just getting the housing, the hotels, the jobs that are currently lost, we have to find a way to work together to move that forward. I think I can do that once again. There's a lot of opportunities in San Leandro. We just got to focus, bring our safety, and bring the crime down. And I think we have a brighter and better future for our community.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo, your thoughts?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Basically, aside from Bayfair, which was already covered, are there any other unique needs of District 2, and how would you address those needs?
Yes, there are some unique needs in District 2. Well, it's throughout the city, but one thing is my latest policy that I put forward is to lock up all the dumpsters. I go to National League of Cities, so I meet with other mayors and other council members. So I push to lock up all the dumpsters at all strip malls and shopping centers because people are going behind Michael's. They're throwing all the cardboard all over the place. They're 24-hour fitness, Palma Plaza, the greenhouse. They're throwing the garbage all over the place. So we need to clean up the city. That's part of my cleanup plan, is to lock up the dumpsters. What another issue in District 2 is the Triangle. The Triangle's empty. It used to be an old place where they worked on cars. Now it's just vacant. We have art there sometimes. So we're looking into different things. We're looking into possibly maybe put taco trucks in there or put a welcome to San Leandro sign, something that's not real expensive, but that's a priority too, that area. But the marina is a big issue. So the marina right now sits at Blight. I've been advocating to get
I'm going to actually have a question on that. So we're going to have a whole minute to talk about that exact subject.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to the marina, but I have this other question first. And so that would go to Mr. Azevedo first. This next question. How do you plan to revitalize our downtown so that it becomes an inviting place where residents want to go and spend time?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, well, I believe we're in the process of doing that with the Downtown Association right now. We're getting more lights up. We're getting ready for all the holidays. We've been having a lot of events. We had our first San Leandro Pride event in downtown San Leandro. We just had a Latino Heritage event, and we always have our event where we have our Christmas tree lighting. So I believe, yeah, we're on a good path with that. But people are concerned about crime. We approved more cameras downtown. And we're working with the small businesses and all the businesses downtown to make sure that they feel safe down there. So that's an issue. We want to make sure folks feel safe, and we have these events, and a lot of people show up. The Cherry Festival's been big, and we're going to have Oktoberfest this Saturday. So the downtown area is moving up, doing good. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
A question again, please.
How do you plan to revitalize our downtown so that it becomes an inviting place where residents want to go and spend time?
Yeah, and it goes back to safety again. It goes back to feeling safe, being able to walk through the community. We made some improvements by attracting field work downtown, and you have other great environments. But if people feel unsafe in their community, do they go out there and risk their lives? I mean, that's how people sometimes are feeling as I'm talking to individuals in our community, being accosted, open drug dealing in the community. So it's really have to focus on getting our numbers back up, bringing in our public safety professionals, be able to have the community policing, be able to have on the streets, and working with our individuals in the community to be able to say something and see something. And with maybe the downtown Safeway also closing, then more blight, more storefronts that are closing, we can't have that. We have to make sure we activate, invest, and keep our community safe, and attract and incentivize businesses to stay open. Freeze the cost of doing business on Leandro, reduce it, stop the increases in taxes, help with the small business grant when they do have blight or other criminals or suspects break the windows. So that way stores can survive and thrive in their community. I'm committed to that.
Great, thank you. So our next question, I'll go to Mr. Hernandez first. Do you have any suggestions for moving the marina project forward?
Yeah, and I think it's a great question. There's lots of things we can do. Fortunately, I don't know exactly of everything that's happening. But in 2020, we left it teed up with a great opportunity for housing on the waterfront throughout the area that was more affordable, detached, attached homes, the hotels, even the private ferry. That private ferry was self-dredging, had that going. I know the pandemic slowed things down, and there was an opportunity to work with the developer to continue moving it forward. But the city chose to default the developer by de facto trying to divorce that, installing the plan that may not have anything that happen for the next couple of years. But the city has a responsibility. When we were on council, when I was in council, we had over $12 million. We were investing that asset every year. That's expensive, and we can't do it all. But we got to finish the job, get ready, double down in the marina, fix it up, get rid of the blight, improve the infrastructure, and get it ready for the next iteration of whatever we want it to be. We can't just let it stall and not be somewhere people don't feel safe to go. And what we see right now, just sewage being dumped in the water. We can't have that in our town. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo.
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Basically, do you have any suggestions for moving the marina project forward?
Yes, I do. Right now, the developer defaulted or bankruptcy, but we're having issues with that right now. It's a stalled development for 15 years. Didn't even put a shovel in the ground. Yeah, it's not good. So what I've been doing is I'm a fourth generation San Leandro. So I remember when I was a kid, there used to be sailboat lessons, canoe lessons, a Christmas parade. So I've been advocating to get it dredged. We have 4 federal channels in the marina, and we're not receiving no money for it. So I've been going to DC, and I've been, excuse me, advocating for money for the ferries, to get a ferry, water Uber, water taxis. I went to Staten Island, New York, and that's the Republican area. I met with 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and there were free ferry service over there. They have water taxis. And I think that would be great over here. We should be going back and forth to San Francisco all day. The water Uber, people could actually use their own boats. It's not called that, but that's what they call it, AKA water Uber. So people can use their own boats and go to San Francisco and back. So I think that would be great, because if we have 2 hotels at the marina, who's going to stand them? We need to connect to the Oakland airport, the San Francisco airport. Of course, they'll go to San Francisco during the day, but they'll come stay in our hotels at night. And Okay.
Great, thank you. We're going to go on to the next question, but I appreciate both of you have been staying to the time. Um, this is sort of related. There's another project a lot of us are interested in. So do you have any ideas for making the Casa Peralta self-sustaining? And we would go to Mr. Azevedo first on this. The Casa Peralta, how to make it self-sustaining.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know it has issues with funding right now and revenue. So I think we need to find out about some kind of association or something to help adopt in a nonprofit or look into different ways for revenue streams because yeah, it's important. That's a very historical. So and it's from like the early 1900s, late 1800s. So yeah, we have to restore it and we have to use it. So yeah, I would love to look into some nonprofits or something to help us keep it going.
Great,
Just like the Bell Theater, we need to do something with that also. Thank you, my district.
great, thank you. Mr. Hernandez, your thoughts on the Casa Peralta?
Well, the Casa Peralta is an asset to our community. It's been there since a very long time. It has a huge history, and I think it should really be a historical landmark. We should be able to set up a foundation to support that asset, be able to really find the resources and philanthropy that wants to maintain the history. That building is beautiful and it's central to placemaking in our community. Someplace that we can come together, kids can really learn about the history, how San Leandro became, and the history of the Peralta family throughout the community. And that's not the only asset that we have. We also have the Altamira House, which is another asset. And I'm glad to have supported the assets there by having some general meetings when I was Rotary Club president and supporting those assets because they really need investment. And looking at a community benefit district that values and improves and invests on our asset is critical. And if we can do that, they can revitalize our downtown through the foundation, through organizations and philanthropy, just like they came through with this $5 million of philanthropy money. It's great, and it's out there, and we just have to keep asking. And I think if we keep asking, we'll get the solutions we need.
Great, thank you. If you're elected, what methods would you use to stay in contact with the residents you serve? So, Mr. Hernandez, we go to you first.
Yeah, no, I love the communication door to door, having small forums, online surveys. It's a great way to connect with individuals and talking to community lead organizations like the League of Women Voters are critical to really understand what are they hearing, because it's important to hear what are the concerns of the community. And I love being able to solve these complex problems and working with others. I don't have all the answers, I never will say, but I have a small piece of it, and I'm happy to amplify the solutions. Just like saving St. Rose Hospital, a vital safety net hospital, something I moved forward through the Eden Health District and seen that get carried through the supervisors all the way to our Assembly Member Liz Ortega and Senator Aisha Wahab. It's amazing that we're gonna be able to save that hospital, working together with Alameda Health Systems. And there's a press conference tomorrow with Attorney General Rob Bonta, who's going to be taking some information. Somebody who's endorsed my campaign. I'm honored or privileged that he calls me a friend, and I'm looking forward to supporting our community further.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo, how do you communicate with your residents?
Well, I'm always out there with the community, finding out their needs. And my job is not to only reach out to the couple hundred people that everybody knows in the town. I'm out reaching out to the community where they don't go to the meetings. They don't go out in public. They don't speak English. That's what I'm all about, trying to reach out to the community because we are 37% Asian, 29% Latino, 19% white, and 11% African American. So we're a very diverse city. So we need to make sure that we're connecting with these residents and their languages too. I learned that Chinese, it's Mandarin and Cantonese. So I'm learning about all the different languages and reaching out to all the different cultures because it's important to make sure everybody feels welcome in San Leandro. You know, the ones that, like I said, that don't go to the meetings, that don't go out in public, that don't know anybody. That's important that we reach out to them, let them know what resources we have in the city for them. So that's really important to me. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Our next question will go first to Mr. Azevedo, then Mr. Hernandez. How would you increase and support small businesses in San Leandro? Mr. Azevedo, this is to you.
Oh, okay. You're breaking up for a second.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm out there supporting small businesses every day. I'm always advertising them and going to their grand openings, making sure that people go to their restaurants. I'm always posting about it. So it's real important to support small businesses. We got to make sure that their taxes and it's able for them to get their businesses licensed where it's not as much trouble and have to jump through hoops to get it. I've heard issues with that. So we need to make sure that we have a streamlined process where they're able to go to business, get their business going faster. So that's really important to me. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, and thank you for the question. I mean, small businesses is a critical element of our community. Knowing that my parents had a small business, a small restaurant where I started learning the value of hard work, making pizzas for the community there in the little Italian Mexican restaurant we had at the age of 12, is where I learned about customer service, smiling, and being able to do what we can to keep people happy. But it's unfortunate that right now safety is a huge concern for Rudy Gonzalez's meat market. He's been broken into 4 times. And that's like $4,000. In San Francisco, they have a small grant program, $2,000 to $4,000 to help small business survive and thrive when that happens. And the city does have a responsibility to keep our businesses safe. And we don't have enough officers to do that, then the city is on the hook to make sure it's safe. We have to freeze the business line for small business tax for small businesses too, because it's been going up for the last 4 years, over 13%. So getting our numbers back up for police, making sure we can freeze the business license tax, and having a small business grant like they have in San Francisco. I look forward to implementing that program, and thank you for the question.
Great, thank you. Our next question will go to Mr. Hernandez first, and then I'll come back to Mr. Azevedo. Would you support changing the zoning code to increase housing density and heights?
Yes, and it really depends where it makes more sense, because we can't put a 60, 80-story building right behind single families, but we can put ADUs, something I've advocated for, having a streamlined approach for ADUs, a toolkit to help people understand how to build tiny homes for family members, for people aging in place, for the kids coming back from college that can't afford a place to live. And yes, the room was converted from your bedroom to the knitting studio or my office from a home now. Sorry, but we can build those ADUs. We can build housing. Unfortunately, in San Leandro, we've approved projects, over 600 units downtown that are not being built. And it goes back to construction costs, affordability, rent, and safety. I'm very supportive of doing that, and we can find ways to bring more revenue in, to make it more affordable, to make it important and safe that we want to invest in our community. And together, having that background in real estate development, I know I can do it again. And I'm proud to support 2 other projects that brought over 300 units to our community. I'm happy to support and find the ways to do that together.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo.
Yes, yes. I think we need to start with our downtown, yeah, and make sure it's more dense. I support changing the zoning to make it more dense. And Bayfair, I wouldn't mind building that up, build it up 5, 6 stories, whatever. But we do need to get more dense. We need more housing. It's expensive here. Folks can't afford to live here. I mean, I have adult kids and they can't afford to live in San Leandro. Once kids move out of once they graduate from school, it's hard to afford over here. To buy the houses over here for $1 million, that's $10,000 a month. Where can you find a job that pays mortgage to be able to pay? So it's really hard. We need mixed use. We need with commercial and housing. So it's real important that we find different elements in the city where we can get more housing for everyone. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, this is the tough question. We'll go to Mr. Azevedo first and then to Mr. Hernandez. I bet you thought this was coming. With San Leandro facing a looming budget deficit, what and where would you propose making cuts? Mr. Azevedo, that's to you.
Okay. Yes, well, I've been looking in the budget, and there's different places where we can make cuts on different projects that we're doing, but it's important that we don't cut our social programs because those are our most vulnerable people in our community. So we need to make sure that we cut on different things where it's not going to hurt our most vulnerable in our city. So I know that our police and our fire budget's 51%. I wouldn't want to cut that budget, but I would look into different services where they don't affect our most vulnerable in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for the question. It took me about 3 years, but I did work through this idea that I had a concept of, and this private property transfer tax. And I'm someone who actually expands the pie. It doesn't really figure it's a fixed pie. So we can find ways always to expand the pie. We don't necessarily need to cut. We need to find the right solution to expand the pie and figure out how we can be more efficient and effective. But the transfer tax brought another $6 to $8 million. It was vital. During the pandemic, it passed in 2020 with the necessary vote. So we didn't have to cut any services, maintain the vital services that we needed during the pandemic, and keep everybody employed. so that people don't have to worry about their jobs. They can focus on their family and their health and well-being. I have a plan, I have an idea, and I'm talking through it to really expand that and bring another 25% more to our budget. And I think we can effectively do that. I look forward to implementing that plan with your support this November. So I'm about expanding the pie, not cutting. Thank you.
Great, thank you. This will be our last question.
Oh, shucks.
I know.
You're just getting warmed up.
So Mr. Hernandez, you'll be first, and then I'll go to Mr. Azevedo. But you also, don't forget, we'll have another 2 minutes later to give your closing statement as well.
Thank
So
you.
our question is, each board member has just one vote and it takes a majority vote to take action. How do you see your approach, skills, and expertise assisting you in building a collaborative board and staff?
And this is to me?
Yes.
Great. I'm a collaborative consensus builder. I try to work on interests, not positions, really understand what people really care about, especially on the boards and commissions that I serve on. I've currently served on 5 different boards at the same time, from San Leandro Rotary to the Food Pantry to AVA Community Energy, currently the chair of that advisory committee. And when I was in city council, it was hard, but you work to find out how we can move together. What are the things that really matter and how we can get the answers so that we can benefit the community. I'm still doing that today on the Eden Health District Board, being able to move us forward. That body was just granting in the hundreds. Now we're getting to the millions. This year, we're giving away about $500,000, $750,000 and $1 million. So I had to make sure they saw the value of making a difference. And that difference is helping us save St. Rose Hospital, and it's a vital safety net property. So I work to understand where people are at, what are their concerns, just like Shibboleth Road. Everybody cares about safety. We have to find the way forward, and we can do it together. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo.
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Each board member has just one vote, and it takes a majority vote to take action. So how do you see your approach or your skills or expertise in assisting you in building a collaborative board and staff?
Yeah, well, I've been on the council these past 4 years and I work well with my colleagues and the mayor. We don't always agree on everything. We've had some issues, but we work good together, and I've passed over 10 policies since I've been on the city council. So I believe that we just got to work together and work through without violating the Brown Act. We work together, we talk to each other when we can, and try to work on the issues to make sure that, what's best for the community. So sometimes we got to compromise, but without compromising our values. So that's what it's all about, working together and seeing what's best for the community. And yeah, it takes 4 votes to pass anything, and we're only 1 vote. So we got to make sure it's something that, that all council members agree with. There were a majority for their districts, because, San Leandro, we're voted by where we live. We run where we live, but the whole city votes on every district. So it's a majority vote. Yeah. So thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, now we're going to go to the concluding statements. The candidates will have 2 minutes each for their closing statements. We'll begin with Mr. Hernandez this time. So whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to the women voters and members and guests for this evening's opportunity to share a little bit about myself, my passions, my interests, and how we can move our city forward. As mentioned, safety is the top priority in our community. We need to increase our number of police officers and support and build that trust once again with them so they can serve our community. And of course, something goes wrong, we hold them accountable, and we work together to find solutions forward for everyone. I'm committed to housing. I have that background in housing. I started with my father fixing up homes and getting them sold to first-time home buyers, specifically Latinos in the community, and making a difference so they can have a home and live the American dream. Infrastructure is critical. If we're not fixing roads, filling those potholes, how can we get around town? And then people see it like, why would I want to invest in something that doesn't look that great? Just like the marina. The marina is blighted. We need to do work to improve that and support it until we find the solution forward once again that works for everybody. And around small businesses, economic development, it's critical. That is the backbone of our community. Those small businesses like As Needed Bakery, some of the best sandwiches and bread in town, and even cookies too. And then we can go downtown to Zocalo and the other wonderful establishments in our community that make San Leandro what it is, a loving, inclusive community. But we're at a point right now that we need to move forward and make it safer and better for all. And I'm committed to that. And working together with the passion of mine to serve the community and been doing it for the last 30 years. I never meant to be a politician. When I lobbied Congress with Barbara Lee to bring some money down for railroad crossings so they'd be safer, I told them I never meant to do this. And I said, that's how it's supposed to be. You never want to be a politician. You want to be a problem solver. And that's what I am. I'm committed. It's a hard effort to get back on, but I'm committed to making a difference because I care about our community. I care about our future. I care about our kids. And we need to make sure it's a safer community for all. Thank you again for the time. Love you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Azevedo, your closing statement.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been an honor to share my vision for San Leandro and discuss the priorities I have for our city over the next 4 years. I humbly ask for your support and endorsement as we work together to build the San Leandro we all want to live in, a place where every resident feels connected, valued, and safe. It's easy to get caught up in the politics of fear, to focus on what's wrong and let negativity take over. But I believe in a different path, one where we tackle our challenges head on while also celebrating the many good things we have in our city. I envision a San Leandro where our public spaces are vibrant and free from crime, where our neighborhoods are clean, and where families feel welcomed and supported. A connected, community-driven San Leandro is the key to a thriving future. That's why I've been out in the community leading cleanup efforts and serving as a conduit between our residents and our city government. As a policymaker, I've championed affordable housing projects, expanded community cleanups through a model I helped develop, and supported the creation of the Community Police Review Board to ensure transparency and accountability. Looking ahead, I see a San Leandro that continues to grow responsibly, with thriving local businesses, safer streets, and more green spaces for everyone. I'm proud to have the backing of the Alameda Building Trades Council representing over 100 unions because they know I stand with working families in our community. Together we can achieve great things. Let's keep building a San Leandro that we can all be proud of, where hope, action, and unity drive us forward. Thank you so much for having me today. I love San Leandro. That's our city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to both of you very much for staying on time. The audience, I want to let you know that some of you may have submitted questions that we didn't get to. The screeners combine similar questions of general interest to the audience, and we do have a limited time. So we hope that if you have more questions, you will contact the candidates directly for additional information. Your local leagues also participate in something called Vote 411, an online collection of candidates' information. We encourage you to view the candidates' information there. Again, that's called Vote 411. If you've moved or changed your name or wish to change your party affiliation, for example, since you last registered to vote, you need to re-register. Online voter registration is available at the Secretary of State website, which is sos.ca.gov. Again, that's sos.ca.gov. It's secure and easy. The deadline to register to vote online is October 21st for vote by mail. Voters may even register to vote on election day. If you go and vote in person, you'll vote provisionally. Ballots will begin to be mailed out on approximately October 5th. And of course, you can vote in person, by mail, or place your ballot in an official Alameda County ballot drop box. Whatever you choose, but please remember to cast your ballot on or before Election Day. This year, it's on Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you to the candidates for participating this evening. Thank you for taking the time to become an educated voter to all our audience. We also want to thank our wonderful League of Women Voters volunteers. We have many volunteers participating and want to thank them for their help. We welcome any of you to join the League of Women Voters, and can join too, by the way, in doing the hands-on work to empower voters and defend democracy. Please vote on November 5th or before. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your being here. That's it, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.